Hello students, and welcome to another Algebra I lesson from Mr. Graves. Today we're going to talk about solving quadratic equations by factoring. And this is new material generally at the Algebra I level. But really what it involves is, up until now we've always done linear equations in solving. An example of that would be just a simple x minus 1 equals 10. Everything is to the first degree. That means that the letter that we've worked with has always been to the first degree and not the second degree. Well, this is what actually quadratic equations are. They're working with second degree or higher degree equations, and we want to find out what x is. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and I want you to listen carefully. We'll have a homework helper lesson regarding that as well in another video. But if you get the hang of what's going on, it does involve a little factoring at times, and so you're going to need to kind of recall from some of those lessons as well. We'll try to help you through it. The first problem in our example is x minus 5 times x plus 2. Now we know that if we were to multiply that, we would actually get a trinomial that would have a degree of 2. Our first answer, or our first term in that trinomial would be a squared. So that makes this a quadratic type problem, okay? So here's what we do. This is exactly how we do it. We would factor, and what we're going to do is we're going to set each factor equal to 0, and then we're going to solve, okay? So x minus 5 is our first factor. So x minus 5, we're just going to set the first one equal to 0, and then we're going to solve for x. Well, we add 5 to both sides, and we know that x equals 5, okay? Also, for x plus 2, we're going to solve it and set it equal to 0 as well. So each one separately gets set equal to 0. We subtract, and we actually get x as a negative 2 because we subtract 2 from both sides. Well, quadratic problems have more than one answer, and so we want to make sure that we understand what those are. So 5, if we plugged it back in, would be 5 minus 5 times 5 plus 2 equals 0. We get 0 times 7. What would that be? It would be 0. Okay? The other problem, and remember, 0 isn't the only answer. Okay? Negative 2 is the answer in this particular case, because if we did a negative 2 minus 5 and a negative 2 plus 2 equals 0, we would understand that this is 0 no matter what this answer is, making it 0. Okay? So that kind of help you understand. And in that kind of thread, by way of how we do our problems, you'll start to see how we solve quadratic equations and so forth. Okay? Now, x squared plus 8x plus 12. This is a trinomial that's not factored. So we're going to set it equal to 0, making it an equation. And then we're going to put down here remember, we find two numbers that when multiplied together equal a 12, or positive 12, but when added together equal a positive 8. Well, the factors of 12, we know 6 and 2 would be x, and then plus 6 and plus 2, and that would be our answer. Now, we're going to set it equal to 0. That'll be our answer for factoring. But now we need to do the same thing we did up here. So let's set each one equal to 0. X plus 6 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. Okay? Well, what's the answer to the first one? Well, we know that would be a negative 6. What's the answer to the second one? That would be a negative 2. You can check your answers, but again, if you've done your math right, then you know. Those are our two answers. Not just one, but two. Okay? Let's take a look here. 8x squared minus 16x equals 0. The left-hand side actually can be factored. Okay? Now, what we have here in this particular situation is the 8 is 2, 2, and 2. Okay? Remember our greatest common factor, our min-com. And 16 is 2, 2, 2, and 2. We have 2 x's here and 1 x here. Okay? Minimums and common. So we can only pull out 3 sets. All right? So, and we can only pull out 1 x. We've got 2 here and 1 here. So that means 2 times 2 is 8. So 8x is our greatest common factor. All right? But what do we have? We've got to make sure we finish our factoring, don't we? So we ask ourselves, 8x times what gives us 8x squared? Well, we just have to pick up 1x, don't we? We need to factor, remember. That's what we're doing here. Now, 8x times what gives us 16x? Well, that would only be 2. I don't need to pick up any more x's, do I? Okay? So now I factored, now I take my two factors of 8x squared minus 16x, all right, and I set each one equal to 0, just like I did here. This one happens to not be a binomial, but we can still do it. Watch. 8x, we just set it equal to 0, and the other factor, x minus 2, we set equal to 0 as well. So divide both sides by 8, and we find out that our answer is 0. Okay? It would be undefined if it was in the negative, in the denominator is 0, but it's in the numerator, so it's 0. We add 2 to both sides, and we find out here that the answer is 2. So 0 and 2 are going to be our answers with regard to what we've got there, okay? Now, 2x squared plus 8x minus 42. We gotta break that down because we've got 2, 2, 2, 2, and then we can break 42 down into 2 times 3 times 7, I believe it is. But if you'll notice, the only thing we can pull is one set of 2's because we've got 1, 2 here. Can we pull any x's out? No, we can't because we don't have an x in the third term. So we're going to take this 2, and then again we're going to put our plus and minus, we're going to fill it in. 2 times what is x squared? Well, that would be x squared. Or 2 times what is 2x squared? Sorry. 2 times what is 8x? That would be 4x. And 2 times what is 42? That's going to be 21. All right? Now, so what we do is we end up getting a trinomial that's also in what we just did. All right? So now we're going to break it down further, and we have an x and an x. Okay? What are the factors of 21 that when multiplied, or negative 21, that when multiplied together equal a negative 21, but when added equal a positive 4? Okay? Well, it looks as though we've got a 7 and a 3, and we would make the 7 positive and the 3 a negative, so that when we add them, we get a positive 4, not a negative 4 if we switch them around. All right? We have a video for that, and we showed you that here in that particular video, how to factor trinomials. So we have x plus 7 and x minus 3. Now, in quadratic formulas, when you're solving, you take each factor and you set it equal to 0. Now, 2 is not equal to 0, so we just kind of let that go. But we do have two binomials here, okay? So let's set them equal to 0, and x plus 7 is equal to 0, and x minus 3 is equal to 0. We would subtract 7 from both sides here and get a negative 7, and we would add 3 to both sides here and get a positive 3. So our answer would actually be a negative 7 and a positive 3. That is the solution for this particular problem, okay? Now, 3x squared minus 147, what are we going to do there? Well, guess what? We can actually subtract, your book probably does it that way. Let me take a double check and look here. 3, okay, what we'll do is we'll pull out, because we could subtract, but we'll pull out the 3 from both sides. So let's actually subtract 3x squared minus 147 is equal to 0. We did that by subtracting minus 147 from both sides, all right? Because in our quadratic, we should get everything set so that 0 is on one side. Now, 7 plus 4 is 11 plus 1 is 12, so it's divisible by 3. So we know we can pull a 3 out, all right? So 3 times, we get a minus, so 3 times what is going to give us x squared? Well, that's going to be 3x squared, all right? And then 3 times what gives us 147? That's 49, all right? So we'll set it equal to 0, all right? Now, x squared minus 49, does that look familiar to you in relationship to conjugates? And remember, it's a perfect square. So look what we can do. 3 times, all right, minus and plus, x minus 7, x plus 7. Remember, this is a square. Square root of x squared is squared. X. Square root of 49 is 7. And because it's minus, there's 2 there, all right? So we set it equal to 0. X minus 7 is equal to 0. That would give us 7. X plus 7 equal to 0 would give us negative 7. Don't worry about the 3 there. Okay, you see that? So that kind of helps us to understand what we're doing there, all right? Let me erase this so it's not so close together and you can kind of see, all right? Now, 4x to the third equals 14x squared plus 8x. We don't have this in the format that we want, and we need to do that. We need to put everything on one side, and since the 4x to the third is the highest degree with the 3, let's subtract 14x squared, all right? Which is what we did, minus 14x from both sides, okay, is what we would do. And then we would subtract, we subtract 14x squared, but we'd also subtract 8x from both sides. And then all we're left on the one side is equal to 0, which is what we want to do, okay? Now, 4 and 14 and 8. It looks like we can pull some things out here. 4 is 2 and 2. 14 is 2 and 7. 8 is 2, 2 and 2. We also have 3, 2 and 1, but we can only pull out 1x. So we can only pull out 1, 2. 2x, all right, minus and minus. So let's do it. 2x times 4, 2x times what is 4x to the third? Well, that would be 2x squared, all right. 2x times what gives us 14x squared? 7x. And then 2x times what gives us that? A minus 4. Okay? Now, let me take a look here. By way of our problem here, 2x, all right, we've got, I'm just going to carry this down so you can see it from the book. And if you've got your book, you can take a look here. All right? 2x, all right, we're going to bring down 2x squared minus 8x plus 1x equals, let's see here, plus 1x minus 4, minus 4 equals 0, okay? So we got that, and then it ends up being 2x, and then here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this, and we're going to have a trinomial because it's factoring again, all right? 2x plus 1, all right? And x minus 4, okay? This is what this equals. And those of you that are looking can check in your book. This is example number 6, and it's spread out here a little bit more in relationship to what we have here, okay? Because you factor 2x from each term, and that's what you get, 2x and then a double 2x, all right? So now we're going to take each factor, and we're going to set it equal to 0. 2x is equal to 0. 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. X minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, see what we did there? We've got 3 different things there. All right, well, we know if you divide both sides by 2, you get 0 here. If you set this equal to 0, you subtract 1, and you get 2x is equal to a negative 1. 2x is equal to a negative 1, divide both sides by 2, and you get a negative 1/2. You set this equal to 0, and you add 4 to both sides, and you get a positive 4. This last example is a little bit trickier. It is in your book, students, for you to take a look at, but we'll work through that in the homework as well, in the homework helper and so forth, all right? But hope that'll be a help to you. And again, this was solving quadratic equations by factoring, all right? Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.